Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Tombstone Tourist. Today I'm in Hamilton, Ohio, a city of about 63,000 people, about 20 miles or so north of Cincinnati, and it's the county seat of Butler County. The town got its start as Fort Hamilton, which was named for Alexander Hamilton, the first Secretary of the Treasury. The fort was built in 1791 as a supply station for troops during the Northwest Indian War. When the town was incorporated in 1810, it kept the name Hamilton. And today there is a number of notable people that are from this area, including Ray Combs, the second host of the TV show Family Feud, musician Van Stevenson, and baseball manager Jim Tracy. Today, I'm at the Rose Hill Burial Park, where I'm going to be visiting the final resting place of one of the Cincinnati Reds' most beloved sports figures. From the time he joined the team as a teenage pitcher in 1944 until his death in 2007, generations of Reds fans have grew up with Joe Nuxhall. Joseph Henry Nuxhall was born and raised here in Hamilton, Ohio. He grew up a fan of the Cincinnati Reds and played baseball at Hamilton High School, where he had quite a reputation as a left-handed pitcher. His father, Orville, was a pretty good baseball player too and passed the talents along to his son. In his early teens, Joe joined his father, playing for a local semi-pro baseball team here in the Hamilton area. In 1944, the Reds had a general manager named Warren Giles, who prided himself on developing homegrown talent for the Reds. In doing so, he kept up with the development of local high school and college players. When a number of the Reds players were either drafted or enlisted in the military, Giles decided to turn to local talent to fill out his depleted roster. Giles secured permission from both Joe's father and high school principal to sign the team to a major league contract on February the 18th, 1944. When the Reds opened the 1944 season, high school pitcher Joe Nuxhall was with the team in the Reds bullpen. For the first couple of months, Joe didn't see any action, only occupying a spot on the roster. Then on June 10th, 1944, with the Reds trailing the St. Louis Cardinals 13-0 in the ninth inning, Reds manager Bill McKechnie summoned 15-year-old Joe Nuxhall from the Reds bullpen. After retiring the first batter he faced, Joe went on to walk 5 batters, gave up 2 base hits, and committed a wild pitch while giving up 5 runs. At the age of 15 years, 316 days, Joe Nuxhall is still the youngest person ever to appear in a major league game. Joe spent the rest of the 1944 season in the minor leagues with the Birmingham Barons of the Southern League. In 1945, Joe attended spring training with the Reds but decided he wanted to return home and finish high school. He played football, baseball, and basketball for Hamilton High School and earned all-state honors in both football and basketball in 1946. But Joe's first love was baseball, and following his graduation, he returned to the minor leagues where he played for the next 5 years. In 1952, at the ripe old age of 23, Joe Nuxhall returned to the Reds, where on June the 13th, he made his first career start, pitching 9 innings, allowing 4 runs, 9 hits, and 3 walks in a 4-2 Reds loss to the New York Giants. Joe remained with the Reds until the end of the 1960 season. He played for the Kansas City Athletics in 1961 and the California Angels in 1962 before returning to the Reds to finish out his playing career. In April of 1967, Joe retired from the field and began a second career, that of a Reds broadcaster. For more than 35 years, Joe Nuxhall would remain a member of the Reds on radio, working first with Jim McIntyre until he was replaced by Al Michaels in 1970. In 1974, Michaels moved on and the Reds hired a man named Marty Brennaman. For the next 30 years, Joe and Marty would be the voice of the Cincinnati Reds. During those years at Riverfront Stadium, Joe and Marty would watch the Big Red Machine of the 1970s dominate Major League Baseball with players like Johnny Bench, Tony Perez, Joe Morgan, and Charlie Hustle, Pete Rose. They watched the host of Reds managers like Sparky Anderson, Lou Piniella, Ray Knight, and Jack McKeon, just to name a few. In 2003, the Reds moved into a new Great American Ballpark, and Joe and Marty were in the booth to begin a new era of Reds baseball. Joe spent 2 years at Great American Ballpark, but at the end of the 2004 season, he announced his retirement, some 60 years after he made his Major League pitching debut for the Reds as a 15-year-old high school student. After announcing his retirement, Joe couldn't stay away and would occasionally return to the Reds radio booth and join Marty and the Cowboy Jeff Brantley for a few innings. It was just like old times, and Red fans were always delighted when the old left-hander was back in the booth. Joe Nuxhall, the old left-hander, passed away on November 15th, 2007, at the age of 79 from the complications of cancer. Now, on a personal note, I grew up in the hills of Southwest Virginia listening to Joe and Marty. There were a couple of local radio stations that would broadcast the Reds day games, and when the sun went down, I could tune in to the Reds flagship station, WLW. It was through their eyes that I saw Hank Aaron hit home run number 714, and they introduced me to the Big Red Machine. Because of their great voices, I can say I saw it on the radio. In 2007, Joe was a finalist for the Ford C. Frick Award, which would have enshrined him into the broadcaster's wing of the Baseball Hall of Fame. Joe was passed over in favor of another great broadcaster, Dave Newhouse. I sincerely hope that one day soon, Joe Nuxhall will be able to take his place in the Hall of Fame. This is where I'm going to end this video. If you have any memories of Joe Nuxhall, Marty Brennaman, the Cincinnati Reds, or any of the people that we visit in these videos, please be sure to leave me a comment. If you enjoyed my visit to the final resting place of Joe Nuxhall, I hope you'll consider subscribing. I upload a new tombstone video every Sunday morning, so if you want to be notified when new content is posted, be sure to ring that bell and subscribe. Now, I think it's only appropriate that I end this video just as Joe would end every Reds broadcast. This is the old left-hander, rounding third and heading for home. So long, everybody.